So I just got done giving the D9 a bath with the steam cleaner instead of the river. I got to put oil in the finals, flush that one out, and put this transmission hose pump on. Comes off the pump there, goes down, goes clear to the bottom of that filter. Really, it'd be easiest to swing the pan down, but I don't want to do that. So anyway, I've got to get this thing going because I got to go back up in the river. Yep. Won't be playing in the water, I don't think, this time. I actually think we got the water in that final drive over there last fall when I was up in the river, because I worked in some pretty deep water for a while, and I think that's where it came from. So anyway, that's my mission today. So this is where a final drive filter on a D9G or an H goes, right there. And then your pump runs, that's it right there, and it runs off the end of the pinion gear. And that sprays oil on the pinion gear as it goes around, and then it also feeds oil through the dead axle out here and lubricates this outside bearing that the track frame pivots on, and then it just leaks back into the final and goes around again. So anyway, this is how it goes in, like that. And then that's the cover, you put that back on. So that's the hose, and it was leaking up here, and when you take this and bend it, it crunches and crinkles inside. So this is the pressure out of the pump to the tranny, and they run probably well over 230 plus degrees all the time when you're working them hard. So high oil temperature cooks everything rubber, seals, hoses, everything. So like in my Cummins, that's why I reduced the engine oil temperature, because it just cooks everything. It is not good on the hoses, not good on O-rings, and it's not good for the engine oil. So I got the hose on, got it running, no leaks, thank goodness. Put your earplugs in. Okay, I got the oil drain, I got a filter on. Let's see how the starter works. Okay, pray. Okay, now I got to dump that in 5-gallon buckets and get it over there in my oil tote, which is almost full. Okay, it's D9 starter day. I bought this tractor in 1988. I have not put a starter in it ever. So this will be the first time this one comes apart. These are good starters, but they leak like a sieve, so not much you can do there. try to seal them up. So I got to get back, clear in the back there and get that one bolt out. So I have got my 50 footer out. I don't know if I can get back there or not. Oh. Doesn't want to. Wonder how I did that before. Okay, well, I'm gonna need probably a 3/8 9-mile long extension to do this. I don't know how I'm gonna get in there and get that one. So I put all my extensions I got in the service truck together, and I got one that allows it to wobble, but I'm not sure this is gonna be long enough. May have to go in the shop and get another one. Yeah, not long enough. Damn it. Okay, so I got 4 extensions hooked together. Oh yeah, now I just got to get the socket on there. It's packed with grease, crap. I think it started. Oh, come on, man. I had it. I hate it once. Yeah. So you got a big adapter on these to go from pony motor setup to a starter. You'll see it when I get this out, if I get it out. I talk dirty to you? Come on, baby. You know I love you. Hey, ooh, I did it. Talking dirty works. Talk dirty. Dirty. There we go. Okay, watch me break my knuckle. Oop, it did it. God dang. Putting this back on, putting that one nut on is gonna suck. I can get my granddaughters down here and set them down in there and have them put it on. That'd work, wouldn't it? Yeah. Ooh, and down the belly pan it goes. Had to lose one. There it is. Go find the magnet and get him. Okay, so I could probably lift this out by hand, but I don't really need a hernia, do I? Do I really need a hernia? Off and knock me cuckoo. There we go. There we coming. Lordy, there we go. Okay, this is the same as the 343 starter, identical. So I've got some brand new ones in there. So I am just gonna change it out, put one of them other ones on there. So the only place you're gonna see these big long, get up here so you can see. The only place you're gonna see these big long housings is this application, 343, D346. I don't think there's any bearing in the end of that. I really don't. Huh. Gone. Okay, there she is in all her glory. I'd say she was on her last, very last legs. But anyway, I had to disassemble it to get the pinion drive out of it because it's not the same as the 1693 starter, D343. It uses the same housing, really long drive shaft, but because the flywheel in the 9 is so big, they have to use a much smaller gear, and this is the gear on a 343. It's quite large. So I got to take all this thing apart and change out the drive. One of the biggest problems is there's no bushing left in the back. That's probably in the converter sump screen. Anyway, they fill with oil and water because Delco doesn't use a real good seal right there. So I think when I get done with this one, I'm going to go to Ace Hardware. I'm going to buy me a big tube and put in the caulking gun, and I'm going to cover this whole thing in silicone to seal it up. What do you think? Okay, because sometimes I get in some pretty deep water with this cat. These holes right here getting siliconed because they do go straight through. Now the fields are on the other side, but it's not a waterproof deal, and this is one place you can get water in. Now I've siliconed all the way around this boot that goes in here. Number one, because it doesn't fit very tight, and so I don't want it leaking there, and I don't want water going in there. That other starter had some, get my ratchet around. Looks to me like it had water in it. And since it was leaking oil like a sieve out of it, there's only one way it could have got in. Same place that the water was going in. Now, the seals were no good on that shaft, and it didn't have the rubber gaskets. It had the paper ones in here. You want to make sure those are tight. Now, it fit pretty snug on this. I doubt the water could go around it, but I may cover that in silicone. Matter of fact, I'm going to cover it in silicone. The other places you want to silicone the hell out of is here. This one does have the rubber plugs in it. Still got some old red silicone on it. I don't know why. Must have been from the last time it was on a scraper. They didn't, when they rebuilt it, they didn't clean it up really good. But you really want to put it in here thick so that it can't come around the back side. Now there is a rubber gasket in there, but these holes go straight through, so it could migrate in there and it could come through those. So that's what I do. And then when the gasket goes on, that will get siliconed big time, both sides, but mostly lots of silicone right there so it can't go through the holes. Okay, there's the hole. Can't see nothing in there. Dark hole. That's the converter gear. Flywheel gear, I mean. So every time I work on this tractor, it just aggravates my ass because I hired a guy to put the engine together. I should have done it myself. So you see that nut? That's a connecting rod nut. See the dots around it? That went on a connecting rod. That ain't a starter nut. So I'm betting money there's a starter nut inside there on a connecting rod. And the one thing he says that just drives me absolutely effing crazy all the time is, we're not building a watch. The hell you say? There's more moving precision parts in this motor than there is in any $10,000, $20,000 watch ever frickin' made. And it just drove me nuts. Anyway, he mixed the cooler bypass spring up with the filter bypass spring, and the filter bypass spring is not as long or big around as the cooler bypass, so it was bypassing the cooler, running extremely hot oil temperature, which kept taking the bearings out of the water pump. Once we figured that out, we haven't had a lot of trouble with the water pump, but we still don't have good oil pressure, because after 7 effing water pump failures, and all the bearing and shaft material that went down in the engine, went through the crank bearings, cam bearings, went through everything in the motor, I don't think there's probably a bearing or anything left in here that's probably any good. So that's why I do everything myself. You just can't trust anybody. Just sloppy pigs. And I've been paying for this since he did it. It's got 8,800 hours on it, and the engine needs to come out and be gone through, and it should go 20,000 hours easy. Everything leaks. The gasket he put on the starter, didn't put any silicone on it. I always put silicone on those, because when you go to take them out, the gasket just comes off, falls off, and then they don't leak around there. No, he just put the gasket on with all that shitty paint all over it. Anyway, I just spent an hour trying to scrape that crap off. I'm pissed, can you tell? But that's the kind of crap he did. I bought brand new gears for the oil pump. He didn't put them in. I said, you didn't put these in? Oh, they look okay. I don't think he checked the end clearance. I think he thinks he has micrometer fingers and eyeballs, I guess. In the world. You tell me this big old solenoid ain't gonna let it go in. Something. I don't know what the hell. Okay, colossal screw up. So this is a long nose off of 343. This is a long nose off of D9. The hole is considerably bigger. I was under the impression a long nose was a long nose, but apparently not. A D9 is completely different. So I got to take it off, and thank goodness I had a bushing in there. So I put the bushing in, and then I staked it here so it can't come out. So I saved it. So I already siliconed this, and I got to deal with that mess. Yep, somebody kicked my ass. Okay, you see all these plastic bins? I got all kinds of stuff, and I got this all from a guy who retired from CAT. So I had a box full of starter parts, and I had bushings in here, which is awesome. All kinds of good stuff. Anyway, thanks, Hal. Okay, so as you saw, I had to change this cone. This one down here is completely different. It's oriented, the bolt holes and the hole in this is oriented completely different. So, note to self, D9 starters don't work in 343s. Goes right in. And I lost a nut down in there around the saddle. Thank goodness I had some 5/8 fine threadlings in that cat box in there. So there's that plug you put oil in for that front bushing, but it really needs to be clocked different because there's no way you're ever going to get oil in it. So I've spent all day out here, well almost, I think I started about noon. I don't know what time it is, I bet it's getting 5 o'clock. It's 5 o'clock somewhere. Okay, now, I don't know, how do I do this other one? I almost feel like I need to crawl in there and lay down. I think this is going to be like damn near impossible. Yeah, I don't know how in the hell I'm ever going to reach that one. I really need this plate, side plate off, and then I could get down in there, I think. Get my hand in there. See, that solenoid's up against the block. I don't even know if that's going to work. If I tighten that up, what's that going to do? Oh boy, oh boy. I don't know. Yeah. That's bad. That's right up against it. See, and you can't clock it. There's 4 holes in that ring. That's all. You can't clock it. I need to come this way, but then I can't get the bolt in. I wonder if I could clock it and bring this clear over into there, though. Isn't that really where it would need to go anyway? I wonder if it was clocked wrong to start with. Sure hate to take it off again, but damn. Damn. I think that's how it should be clocked. Balls, I don't want to do that. I do not want to do that. I'm going to turn you off and think about it. Okay, so I took it out and I turned the back end around so my solenoid's here now, so I can get to the bolts easy, and where you oil this front bushing straight up and down, which is the way it should be. And then my battery cable will go on right there, piece of cake, not worried about that. And there's my terminal, and this is not touching anything. Jeff wins. You win again. So, this will be a piece of cake here. Look at that. Woo-hoo. Trying to storm. My hat blew away. I don't know where it went. Okay, so all I did was switch the problem down here to the other side, but at least here I can get to it. Okay, tell me I didn't win. Go ahead, tell me I didn't win, because I did. Frickin' won. So, I got everything cleaned up and put away, all my tools, crane down. We had lightning. I was like, oh, I gotta get that crane down. Anyway, just in time. What a day. If I hadn't have had those starter bushings, I'd have never got it together. I'm so glad I had those. For the life of me, I wonder what happened to that starter bushing. I'll have to pull the sump screen on the converter and see if it's in there, if it's in the bottom of the converter when I drain it. That's just crazy. Anyway, that starter was trash. But that's pretty good service life, 1988 till now. That's pretty incredible. Okay, moment of truth. Does my starter work? Not even gonna heat the glow plugs, just gonna crank it over. Yeah, that works pretty good. A lot better than it used to. Now let's fire her up. So I'm gonna start it, let it warm up a little, then I'm gonna shut the fuel off, clean the water separator, and change the fuel filters. Because it's time to go back up to the river today. Okay, these 1RO 749s are $21 even from my cat dealer, and the 750s are $17.41. So what are you guys paying for them? So the 749s are larger in diameter. They're longer and they're larger in diameter. You can see the difference. Quite a bit larger. So I think these are a better buy if you can get them on your rig. I was going to put one of these on the Cummins, but it was too long, so I couldn't use it. Okay, so I bled the air out of the injectors, a couple of them. Let's see if it'll run. A lot of times it'll run and then start missing, so you got to go pump the primer to keep it going until it gets all the air out. Like that. That one open. Lost my wrench. Looky there, I forgot to tighten that one. Tighten that up, maybe she'll go. Stupid idiot. Okay, here we go again. Come on, baby. So it's a beautiful May day. The rain's over, but Memorial Weekend's coming, so it should rain too. So I got a whole box of Richardson hats I have to send back because these are a small. I don't know. I made it up boo-boo. So I can't get the These are charcoal and black, and I can't get any charcoal and black in the regular size I usually have. So I have ordered the large size because I know there was some guys that they wouldn't fit their head. They have big heads. So anyway, it's really hard to get hats. They're out. So I got a shirt going to Cody Meyer from Santa Rosa, California. A hat going to Joe Law in Cartersville, Georgia. And a couple of virus-free hats, a green one and a yellow one, going to Jesse Shackelford in Sanford, North Carolina. So anyway, you guys enjoy. Yep. Guess what I'm doing? Putting together my new desk. It's like millions of pieces of hardware. And you got to figure it out by looking at these drawings. This might take a day. Okay, I got that desk and the hutch put together. So the fax machine printer is going to go on there. So now I've got to completely disassemble all this and set it over on the other desk, and then I got a big corner unit with a hutch above it to assemble. So I'm going to try to get that done. Okay, that's the top piece that goes over the corner desk. That'll go over in the corner. So I got these two major pieces done, but they haven't shipped the desk yet. So I guess we'll leave the computer alone. Otherwise, you won't get no videos.
Time to get the day started. Sure glad I don't have to drive one of those. Phew.